Okay, here from the Roll My Card back to the review. Today I am finally reviewing Scorn. Now, before I go on, I need to say some things. Now, originally I was going to be a lot more negative, but after playing the game and after watching a few videos about it and the story and stuff, I've kind of had a slight change. I still have some cons, but I'm not as negative, and there were some certain things I had that I don't have. Like for example, not being able to jump. I kind of realized, oh wait, not every game needs a jump button. It's like one video about Scorn that mentioned how we're all used to every game having a jump button, even if sometimes it's not really needed. So yeah. Anyways. So yeah, let's get into it. So obviously pros, cons, then meets. So for the pros, the environments, and the design. Now, obviously, if you've heard about Scorn, you would know that it takes heavy inspiration from the artist H.R. Geiger, which when you look at everything, especially certain things from Act 5, you will know that, yeah, it definitely does take inspiration from H.R. Geiger, all to the level design, the enemies, the weapons, level design especially. So yeah, the next one is the story/symbolism. Now, the story can be confusing to most people, but the symbolism is essentially supposed to be life and death. So, yeah, and again, the story, it does have a story, but the story that it has is a bit depressing. So, yeah, there's that, especially since with the ending, our main character almost escapes the hellish world they're in, only to be stopped and fused with a parasite, which, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I don't really have that much to say about it. Next one is the music. Again, honestly, it's more atmospheric and stuff. So, yeah, it's a pretty nice atmospheric music, especially near the end of Act 5. And finally, the weapons. Honestly, the 4 weapons we do get, I do really like the designs, even if technically the last weapon, the grenade launcher, doesn't really count since it's mostly just used for puzzles and not in combat, sadly. So, yeah. Yeah. Now we get to the cons. For the first thing is a hard time figuring out what is even needed done / where to go. Now, here's the thing about me. I'm the type of person who needs some sort of visual, some sort of visual to tell oh, you need to do this or you need to do that. It's not all the time, but it's just I just think it would have been nice if it was some sort of optional thing you could turn on where you could have a waypoint thing. It would be okay. What I'm trying to say is it would be nice if we had a waypoint system that you could turn on or off in the settings. The next thing, which actually connects to this, is not being able to tell if you're in another act. Because, whenever you finish an act, there's nothing on that pops up on screen that shows, oh, you went to another act. Now, when I say this, I'm not expecting to have some sort of big flashy Skyrim-styled pop-up message that's oh, you reached the next act. I just think it would have been nice if there was again, something that could be optional, that could be turned on or off in the settings. It could be somewhere on top right or left could be a bar that pops up that says, oh, you are now out of this act and you are now in this act. It would just, I don't know, it would have been nice if that was a option. And now, final one. A glitch that happened near the end of Act 5. Now, if you've seen my, if you've seen my playthrough, my final playthrough of Scorn, you would know that I had to heavily censor that episode. Well, because in, near the ending, one of the cutscenes accidentally repeated and there were some assets that were missing. One of the assets was covering the crotch of the main character, so I got to see the main character's testicles. So, yeah. So, if you want to see the uncensored version of this episode, or if you want to see the full uncensored version of the gameplay episode, it's going to be on my Patreon in 2 parts actually, because for some reason Patreon didn't allow me to upload a 2-hour video, even if it allows people to upload videos that go to 12 hours. Don't know why. But, yeah. So, that was just mostly something that happened to me, and, like, I have nothing wrong with seeing a penis, but, I can't show that on YouTube for very obvious reasons. I would like to not get terminated off. And now we get to the mids. The first one is the puzzles. Now, I don't hate puzzles, but if you know me, you would know that I am not great at puzzles in video games. So, yeah, let's just say I had to look at some guides. So, yeah, puzzles, not really my thing, but hey, at least I tried. And finally, this last one is technically a con if you suffer from trypophobia, but this game is like a trypophobia's worst nightmare. Okay, maybe not worst nightmare, but there are some things in it that would definitely make a trypophobia probably feel sick. And okay, I don't really have full-on trypophobia. Like I could look at a honeycomb without being disgusted, but it's just mostly whenever like these whole like patterns are in like something that's like skin-like, it's where it makes me like feel disgusted. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, if you suffer from trypophobia, then I don't really recommend playing this game. And honestly, if you're squeamish, I don't recommend playing this game, especially what happened 5. So yeah. So I give this game 5 out of 7 stars. And again, I don't hate it. It's just there were some things that I kind of wish were added into it, but besides that, it was a pretty decent experience. And when I say this is like a horror game, it's mostly it doesn't really have like that much horror. It's not like jump scares and stuff. It's just something that's like scary stuff, especially if you have trypophobia or if you are really squeamish. So yeah. Anyways, that was it for this video. Make sure you all subscribe and like for more. And I'll see you all later. Self regards and goodbye.